Hello, and welcome back to the Get Connecting with Myself series. My name is Krista, and a reminder, this is just a series that I'm producing just so women can feel that connection with themselves. And again, not by doing more, not adding more onto your daily routine, but really just reframing this a little bit and digging a little bit deeper and looking at things maybe differently than you have before too. So today I want to talk about why so many women are feeling disconnected with themselves. This is pretty common. You hear it a lot, and I've certainly experienced this myself as well too. So I think it's a very valuable discussion that we have about, first of all, why we're disconnecting and what we can do to bring back that connection with ourselves as well too. So I find a lot of women are just feeling off. They don't even kind of pinpoint what is going on. Their lives might be, look wonderful from the outside. Everything kind of appears fine. There's nothing distinctly, there's no major thing going on in their life, but they just start to feel off. And this kind of quiet disconnection, quiet discomfort, and they're not quite sure what's going on as well too. And I find oftentimes this might be because we've just, as women, grown up to kind of keep our masks on. We don't really explain what is going on. We keep things hidden. We keep things quiet. When someone asks us how we are, we say, "Oh, I'm fine. How are you?" And don't even think about those words and our response. We just kind of go along, to keep along, like that expression. And really, we want to be able to kind of speak our truth and tell people how we feel and kind of maybe live a little bit more boldly, a little bit more honestly than we've done before too. And I've lived this as well too. And I'm still even aware of myself when someone asks a question, how, even though I've been doing the work for a little while, I just go to my automatic response and say how I'm doing well. And when we ask the questions, what's going on in your life, you kind of give the answers that are expected, that are pleasant, that kind of just go along with everybody else, and we don't question it. So it's kind of really starting to examine why we do these things, and really just how we're programmed and conditioned to answer this way, to be pleasant, to be kind, to be good, and not really kind of question this as well too. So, and this is a gradual process. So we don't even notice that we're doing it. But then over years and decades, it starts to kind of add up. And this is when we kind of start to get this discomfort, this disconnection with ourselves, and we kind of don't even know why. But this is probably what's happened as well too. And so, yeah, like I said, I've lived this for a good chunk of my life, and it's only been the last few years where I've started to kind of question this and look deeper. And what I found is, again, I was the classic good girl. I kind of did what I was told. I didn't question things. I went along to get along. I was adaptive. I was go with the flow. I was nice, all that stuff. And until you start to kind of think something's not right, you start to question things a little bit, you start to look a little bit deeper, and you realize you've just been kind of, you've done what was expected to do all along as well too. And you've kind of started to sever that connection with your true self, and never really question what was going on as well too. And you kind of just numb out a little bit, and but slowly over time you start to kind of look at this. You look at, why am I doing the things that I always do? What are the patterns that I'm starting to relive day in and day out, and never looked at as well too. And you slowly start to become more honest with yourself. You look at your patterns, and when someone asks you a question, you slowly over time, you get the courage to kind of really say what's on your mind. You don't make it vanilla, and you don't make it soft and easy and palatable. You become more honest. You become more authentic to yourself, more truthful. And yes, at times this can be a little disconcerting for others in your life that maybe are not used to this version of you, but over time it just becomes your default. You are not willing to go back to how you kind of played along to get along, as you might have done for most of your life. You see it. You see what you've been doing for all this time, and you're not willing to go back as well anymore. And with this awareness comes greater strength, greater power. You start to like yourself a little bit more. You trust yourself, you trust your answers, and you know where you're being guided. And you're not willing to just kind of do what everyone else is doing as well too. So, it really is kind of coming back to yourself layer by layer, piece by piece, just becoming more your authentic, true being that you always were before, until we kind of masked a lot of this up as well. And it's really coming back to yourself and starting to really like yourself as well too. And this is where kind of a lot of it happens as well too. Again, it's a slow process. It's not quick. It's not like you're going to shift in days, weeks, or months. It's certainly is a process as well too. And but again, it's really cool. And it's also a great way to learn. And I've been, like I mentioned before, I've been doing this for a little while, and I still catch myself in my patterns too, but now I examine them in a different way. And I really examine them with a lot of love and compassion, and just questioning. I don't judge myself. I don't shame myself. It's just I see that I'm always doing this. I wonder why. And oftentimes I might just journal about it. And sometimes I'll start to see my patterns and kind of really get to the root cause of, why am I doing this? And is this even what I want? And sometimes, through journaling, starting to look at it, shed light on it, instead of just disconnecting from it all the time and just never examining it, you really start to kind of grow and shift and change in ways that you didn't even know you were capable of as well too. So being aware of this disconnection and kind of getting back to yourself too, and why so many women do feel off. And also, again, we need to be mindful of some of these ways that we disconnect by, scrolling too much, by kind of outsourcing some of the information that comes into our awareness. Also, we disconnect by, maybe by sometimes the people we hang out with. We disconnect with the news, taking that all in and not really tapping into what's true for us, listening to a lot of external opinions or beliefs, and not really kind of getting quiet with ourselves and listening to what's going on with ourselves. So again, being mindful of that too. We disconnect, we might be scrolling, we might be drinking, we might be overeating, or maybe eating the foods that aren't best for us, kind of when we know as well too. So again, just kind of looking at some of these behaviors. You know what? When I get stressed or anxious, this is what I do. I go to the pantry and I eat this, or I go shopping, online shopping, or I just keep myself so busy all the time that I don't have to feel what's going on. Again, these little habits that we have, these patterns that we have, they're so informative. And again, it's just noticing them, really just noticing them to start with. Again, we're not shaming, we're not questioning, we're not like beating ourselves up. It's just okay, I see this. I see why I do this pattern, and then you just go from there. But that's kind of first step. It's really that awareness, and how we disconnect from ourselves in different ways. And everybody has their flavor, has their way. I have them too. We all do. But I'm a little bit more aware of why I do this and when I do this. And then you have the choice. You have the choice to make a new decision. And when you make that choice, that tiny little itty bitty choice that's different than you would have done before, that's when you start to kind of, the healing comes in, the growth comes in, and it kind of puts you on a little bit of a different trajectory, different timeline than maybe you would have been on before too. So it just starts in these little subtle micro baby shifts as well too. All right. So again, just being aware of the connection with ourselves and how important it is really, and being able to lead ourselves and be a self-led woman is a great goal, but a great way to kind of be just really being in tune with who you are, where you're going, and not being led so much by external markers, external noise, external people. Really coming back to what is guiding me inside, because again, this is the best indicator, the best way forward, and we all have it. We all have that little nudge within ourselves. Again, it might have been, disconnected, but it's always there. It's always there. And once we start to kind of lean into this, then it becomes stronger. That connection becomes much stronger. And then it can kind of lead you into where you want to go and new ways of being. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. And just because it is so important that we see that the disconnection happens. Once we see it, then we can kind of start to change it if we so desire to. All right, so I'm gonna end this video today. Again, like it if this resonates with you, and keep following on this series. The series kind of coming back to yourself as well too. Those little ways through our body, through our intuition, and just being aware of the ways that we disconnect and kind of lose touch with ourselves, and really getting to be honest about where we're going and what we want for ourselves. So wishing you all a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.